Dear, oh dear, it is not looking good, is it, for Tottenham's Thomas Frank? And talkSPORT understands that his job is still under serious risk. There's a realistic chance that he could lose his job after Tottenham's next match. That's against Dortmund. It is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night in the Champions League. Here's what Thomas Frank has had to say today, speaking ahead of that clash.
Yeah, I'm not in doubt of that. I think you can say in this game, you always you need to show resilience. And listen to some interesting thing the other day where the three biggest things in showing resilience is: one, you have good values. I see myself as a guy that have pretty good values. Two, you know reality. And reality is 1 in 5 normally don't like you, no matter what you do. 1 in 5 love you, no matter what you do. Both of them probably biased either way, too much. Then there's the 3 in 5, that if you behave well, respectful, show integrity, do your best, normally they're swayed. So no matter what you do, reality, someone will not like you. So, but I keep doing what I do, what I believe in. And then the last bit, by the way, have perspective in life, which I have in abundance. So looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Go, Thomas Frank speaking ahead of that game against Dortmund. Let's welcome in our resident Spurs fan from Inside Spurs on the talkSPORT YouTube channel, which must be a very happy panel at the moment.
Oh.
Sonny Snelling, how you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm okay, apart from Spurs. That's all I've got to say. It's just an absolute disgrace. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm lost for words. And he's looking forward to the game tomorrow, Thomas Frank. I'm not. So it makes one.
I mean, I was at the game at the weekend, the loss to West Ham United, and to be honest, I thought Spurs were second best in the first half, definitely. Kind of grew into the game, but the whole game you felt it could have gone either way. And then the mess at that corner for the West Ham winner, it just kind of sums everything up, doesn't it?
But he's improved our set pieces, apparently. So, but yeah, it reminds me of, we were similar under Antonio Conte. We'd have a slow 45 minutes, which, considering how Thomas Frank would set up his Brentford side, you remember 3 weeks in a row, first minute goals against Spurs as well last season. It's just lethargic. The players are going through the motions. Second 45, they sort of wake up, but there's never that opportunity where, I think there was one shot after we went 1-1. Xavi Simons pulls off this shot and Areola makes a decent save. But you'd think there'd be a bit of going into the ascendancy and like going and find that second goal. But no, we take our foot off the gas, let West Ham back into it. They're controlling the ball again. And Callum Wilson, now staying at West Ham. You know, he was off to Celtic last week and now he scores a goal on his pay-to-play contract. He'd start over any of our strikers at the moment. It's just the attack, the defence and the midfield, there's no cohesion.
What do you think? How much of this is Thomas Frank's fault? I know that a lot of Tottenham fans seem to have made their mind up on him, but if you have a little bit of nuance to it, which I appreciate Tottenham fans don't need to do, but he took over a team that were pitiful last season. I believe it to be the worst Tottenham team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
A Tottenham team capable of going down. They finished 17th in the league. And I feel like there is a positive light shone on that team simply because they won silver, which is amazing. And it does shine a positive light. But it doesn't totally change the facts that it was a team that were in total disarray. It was a team that conceded goals left, right and centre. And it was a team that finished 17th in the league. You could have gone down. What did you expect him to do? Like, what level of improvement did you anticipate simply by Thomas Frank coming in and adding Xavi Simons to the side with Paulinho, right?
And he's also been missing some very key attacking players for most of the season. James Maddison's been out, Kulusevski, Solanke obviously as well. Is there any word in which you do give him a bit because of that situation?
I think both like injury crisis like are completely different. Last year Ange didn't really have his defence. This year we haven't got the attack, and the attack was quite important. I just think the club, how they attacked the summer in the transfer window was a disaster. We know what happened with Morgan Gibbs-White, Eberechi Eze after James Maddison's horrific injury. We obviously sold Son. You got Kulusevski in that situation. I think, including Brennan Johnson, I think 5 or 6 of our key goal scorers or goal contributors last year have now left. So it's left Thomas Frank in a real big, he's got issues to solve. But what we saw at his time at Brentford, and I know, 2 different clubs. If Brentford lose at home to West Ham, there's not much of a furore around it. But at Spurs, it's back page, front page news. I think what we was assuming, and why I was big in getting rid of Ange Postecoglou about the points that Rory was just saying, I thought Thomas Frank would come in, be a bit more flexible, and we saw how he could improve attackers. Look at Ollie Watkins, Ben Rama, Visser and Mbeumo, 40 goals between them last year. And we haven't seen that at all. It's almost like we moaned at Ange for, not having a plan B, but at the moment, Thomas Frank's plan A isn't working either. And, we all know the problems around Tottenham Hotspur. Daniel Levy has left and the board is still the same. And I would say, a quote of, I don't think Thomas Frank is the problem, but he's not the solution. I feel like he's just a next person to follow and struggle. You could put anyone in there at the moment.
Can he salvage it? Is there a world where Thomas Frank can take this Tottenham team to where you believe it should be?
I mean, my prediction at the beginning of the season, I said we should, with this squad fully fit, between 6th and 8th would be respectable. Like to build on. I weren't expecting, any more silverware after that Europa League win, but like something to, hang your hat on. But we've had one good game this season. That was City away, a full 90 minutes of pressing them, and I just, that feels like a fever dream, that game now. I don't know how we even, were able to compete with them. Even the PSG Super Cup, they were just knackered because they played at the Club World Cup. So at the moment, there's no green shoots, there's no positivity. And I just think the way that Tottenham are acting this week, bigger clubs than us, Chelsea, Man United, saw the Ruben Amorim and Enzo Maresca situations and acted, and I just feel like we're treading water. And like they see this Dortmund game tomorrow, it could have been a dead rubber anyway, but just bringing a coach and then ahead of Burnley, you can build on something.
Who do you want?
Who is there?
See, this is the problem. This is what I thought that was going to be your answer, and that's what makes me think. You say Chelsea and Manchester United have made decisive moves. They have, but they've made them a lot later. They've been in the job, Maresca and also both pressed the self-destruct button. I don't know if the board would have made the moves without that. But equally, we've gone for Liam Rossini and they've gone for Michael Carrick. That gives you an indication of what's about at the moment.
Do you know what's funny? I messaged a couple of Spurs fans after that game the other day, and they both said, right, I'm done with Frank, I want him gone. And I said, who would you want instead? And they both said Xabi Alonso.
But it's just pipe dream.
I did think that. I thought that. Is that being a bit unfair on the size of Spurs as a club? I'm not sure why Xabi Alonso would want to go, especially with the state that the club is in at the moment.
Xabi Alonso is in a perfect position because I don't think he's left Madrid in much controversy. No. It's just that's Real Madrid, they're a monster.
Yeah, intact. You'd say his reputation's still intact. And
he could go to Liverpool. Like, he could be patient and wait for Liverpool. Whereas at the moment, surprisingly, Tottenham do chuck, we don't chuck wages at players, but we, Thomas Frank, I think, is on about £8 million a year, which is a hefty chunk, like when you compare managerial wages in general. But I just think at the moment, like, even if you look at interims, like, we're not going back to Ryan Mason. I mean, I
heard someone genuinely say, bring back Ange as an interim.
No,
earlier.
Stupid.
No.
People, there's been a lot of, revisionism about Ange. Like, he would have, why didn't we keep him on? I think we would have been in the same situation under Ange.
Worse, could have been worse.
Yeah, because, he would have got a couple of players through the door, Kudus and Xavi Simons. But I was even looking at the table earlier, the goals we were conceding, I think we finished on -1, which is impressive when you're 17th in the table. But it just isn't the way. And look at his time at Nottingham Forest. I think he conceded 7 set pieces in 10 games. It's just, more of the same. And
I'm not a clown.
One other player I just want to ask you about, and we can actually hear from Frank on him, is Mathys Tel, because he's been left out of the Champions League squad, then brought back in, now left out again. Let's hear what Frank had to say about that.
Not a nice decision to have to make. Unfortunately, that's football, so you have to make a decision. And the way the rules are, the only option was either Dom or Matty in the squad, and I chose Dom because I think Matty have done very well the last couple of games, and that's the crazy thing. If I could pick. How can you say, from all the players that is fit, actually, he would start tomorrow. But I can only between the two of them, and now he's out of the squad. So that's, of course, a tough one to take for Matty.
It's a strange one, that, isn't it? Because he hasn't been brilliant, has he, Mathys Tel, let's be honest. But he's an attacker and he's fit. It's a bit strange that he's not involved.
I feel like Dominic Solanke has had some minutes in the last 2 games, and you can tell he's not up to speed. He's not match fit. And I just feel like with Tel, although, I mean, he has scored a few goals, Bournemouth, Man United, to name but a few this season. He is one of the ones who looks like he's still quite raw, but he's willing to, take on a full back, pop some shots off here and there. He's the most
He works hard.
And you get off your seat. And that we have not been able to say that a lot this season about some of our players. I mean, the decision making in general at the moment at Spurs is like all over the place from top to bottom. I really, and not to make it about, me as a fan and fans in general, but we do pay like the second highest season ticket to go over there. We expect better. I'm not demanding the world. I'm not saying, we should be top 4. I've not said that once. But a level of consistency and something to hang your hat on is just the barest of minimums.
Well, 4 home wins in 25 games is just dreadful.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And if you break that down for
just dreadful.
If you break that down for the season ticket, by the way, that's around £700 a win.
Oh,
if you pay too much,
that's brilliant, man.
Awful. No sympathy whatsoever.
And Rory thinks Chelsea are basket
That
close.
is mental. 4 wins in 25 games. You play 19 Premier League games a season at home.
Just seen them.
4 wins in 25
in the calendar year. Yeah.
Yeah, shocking. Absolutely shocking. Sonny, it's been an absolute pleasure. Sorry that it's been a bit of a therapy session for you.
Yeah, I'm only called in when we're losing.
Great man, Sonny Snelling there. You can watch Sonny on the Inside Spurs show on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. Always a great watch, alongside Majestic usually, isn't it? And, and Abby Summers as well. This is The Social here on talkSPORT 2. Next up, we're going to bring you some overreactions.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.